is it?
Bethpage.
Bethpage.
Yeah, doing that today. Weather. They said, he said weather. It was weather permitting. Now he sent this out last night. Said weather's good. We're meeting at 11, so they've kicked off today. So I mean, let's face it, we all have cabin fever. We want to all get out.
That's got to be the first thing at Bethpage Burger King in a long time.
The club meets there. They do meet there occasionally through the year. I think a couple.
Oh, okay.
They'll try a couple of events.
All right.
Because the parking lot's big enough, they can, and they started getting a big crowd.
I think right next door is the Auto Zone, and the Corvette guys meet there on Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about Long Island. Somebody's meeting up someplace every day,
all the time, right?
Every day. And this weekend we thought was going to be a snow and a washout, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we ended up being doing well.
I was grateful for that.
Right, exactly.
Standing outside and. Is not.
We're about probably 6 weeks away. With the weather is 6 weeks behind us, kind of thing.
Well, we're hoping, but what are you going to do?
If I ever meet that groundhog, let me tell you something.
I know. Yeah,
I know. You
We're
want
to have a little chat,
But no, that's all. I just wanted to give a quick hello and that the season's starting. I got I said hello to Bill Carberry yesterday. Got 100+ flyers.
You mean this guy standing next to me here?
He's still recovering. Yeah, I see that he's got the twitch. I know I didn't know what it was from. Now I do. Now we got it now. Yeah.
I was already out the door and it was locked, and there comes Howie knocking on the door for calendars.
Son of a gun. And I was talking about air conditioning. To the air conditioning maven.
Well, there you go.
On a chilly day, no less.
Yeah. All right, Howie.
Hey, Phil. Have a great day, and we're promoting the vet dog run right next week, right?
We're going to talk next week. We're going to talk about that next, Howie, right after we come back from our break.
All right. Well, hey, happy motoring, and I'll be there next week.
All right. See you then.
Cool.
Talk to you soon, Howie.
Hope your neck feels better.
All right, thanks, Mike. That was Howie, of course, checking in, and we do have to get to the vet dogs. Thing.
Definitely, we have to talk about that.
Absolutely. So let's take another quick break. We'll go back to the Radiators this time for more of their. This is a New Orleans band, and the CD came out in '89. I think I heard them on maybe it was NEW at the time when they were still playing rock. Because I used to break some new bands, and like, hey, these guys sound pretty cool. They got a nice thing, and I bought the CD. They still do some shows. I think the band's changed around. Not really. I think they're more in the South. But let's go. Let's see what they got to say. A song about an anaconda. They have a song named "Squeeze Me." So let's see how it is from the Radiators, and we'll be back in a minute.
Squeeze me.
Keep it where you got it.
I wanna know. Don't keep me in the dark.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hey, you in the car? Yeah, you. You're a fan of the music of Sly Stone. I know you are. No reason to hide it. You've probably been looking for a radio program that highlights his music. Well, then look no further. Let me introduce myself. I am DJ Solero. That's Soul followed by Air and an O. Solero. Well, never mind about that. Back to what we're both here to talk about. The Sly Stone Show features the music of Sly through the various artists who have covered and sampled his music, and I'll be playing some of the original music that helped impact a generation. Come on, I know you're looking for some feel-good music, so just keep your radio right here for the Sly Stone Show. And you might want to think about cleaning up your car before we start. This thing is nasty. Oh, back to what's important. It's the Sly Stone Show every Friday afternoon at 3 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Your car not running right? Let the Motor Mounts help you out at 516-572-7440.
I want to know what's going to happen in this next segment here on Motormouth Radio. Your host, Ray Guarino, co-host Joe D, and with Bill Carberry, Tristan, and Mason, and we're going to talk about the vet dogs. If you want to get in on this, you can give us a call at 516-572-7440, or check us out on social media, where we will definitely get back to you and promise to, well, we maybe promise to play nice. I don't know. So, Bill,
when did that change?
I don't know. Vet Dogs, this event has been going on for how many years? The 12th annual, I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this will be the 12th show. The first time we did it, we had about 15 cars, and we went out to Montauk Point and had lunch, and I tried to tie in a way to raise some money for a friend of mine that was fighting cancer.
Right.
And I think we raised a few $100, maybe not even $1,000. And then we said, hey, this thing works. So the next year we did it for another charity. Next year we did it for another individual who didn't want to accept the money. I don't know why. So the following year we did it for an organization that we knew would not have a problem accepting the money. Mm-hmm. And a club member who was in the FBI, he knew about vet dogs, and he said, well, why don't you check these guys out? And we checked them out, and they have a very, very low percentage of overhead, meaning the majority of the money that they raise goes to what it's supposed to go to.
Which is important.
Placing a vet dog with an injured veteran.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a great cause. And, we see the TV commercials, we see things in media all over the place, and you realize that, service dogs, I wonder if there's a stat. I think just because of the amount of wounded soldiers we have that have returned, that number has grown. How many are in use across the country? But it is a great thing. It really is.
Unfortunately, it's not cheap though. It costs about $50,000-$60,000 to get a dog, train him or her, and then they place the dog to a particular veteran's needs, depending on what the issue is with that veteran. Mm-hmm. And then they fly the vet in, train the vet with the dog for a week. That's the first time the vet even meets the dog. Mm-hmm. Then they fly the dog and the vet home, and they provide lifetime veterinary care for the dog. And when that dog is no longer able to help, either due to age or whatever, if the veteran still needs an assistance dog, they will set him up with another one.
Yeah.
And it's all privately funded through donations and fundraisers.
Joe, I think you said you spent about $50-$60 on those Alpo cannoli bits for your dog, right? I think.
Yeah, she
just
loves
those
them.
treats, all right?
Yeah, I never know a dog could actually like cannolis, but then again, there was that one on the counter that time, and all of a sudden I was like, Bella, look at that.
Was the one on the counter.
Yeah. It was just the key word there.
And the dog was holding up the coffee cup. Hey, fill me up here. Come here. We need a little shot. Yeah.
Yeah, dogs on caffeine. Ooh.
Yeah, right. Now let's go for a walk. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heck with that. My daughter almost took her for a ride. Yeah. Got the saddle and everything.
Yeah, right. And just like any event, Bill, in years past, I've been down at your start event to see what's going on, and it is a beehive of activity. You guys have all the tables set up. You're usually fighting the wind, with the flyers and stuff, and it's usually cold. But not always.
Yeah, we've had a few nice times, and one time, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we had 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds. The temperature was definitely well below freezing.
People in convertibles must have loved
Well, there's
you.
always the guy who shows up with a Cobra or a tea bucket, and you know that, oh my God, that's going to be a...
But even with that bad weather, and when I pulled out of my driveway that year, I had big snowflakes coming down on my car.
Yeah.
And we still had 30 or 40 classic cars that year. Mm-hmm. Right now for this event, we have about 120 cars pre-registered.
Nice.
We have about 180 people already signed up for the luncheon. And we're setting some records on raising money for vet dogs.
Fantastic.
It's a great thing.
It's great.
That is good. That's great. And, to think about doing that, a guy who's running a business... a thriving business.
Right, and in the middle of all this, he's doing this stuff, too.
Yeah, I mean, you got employees,
God
and you got
bless you.
family. Look, you got grandkids, you got all sorts of stuff going on like most of us do, and
Right.
you still get to pull it off, which hats off to you, Bill, because you do
Thank
a
you.
great job with it.
Thank you.
And but I do know, I will say also that I've learned this from different service groups I've been a part in. If you need someone to do something, you don't ask the guy sitting there who's twiddling his... You ask the guy who's got 5 other things to do. And this was explained to me one year. I said, why? Why did you ask me? They said, because we know that you'll find a
gonna
way
get
to
it
shove
done,
it in, you'll shoehorn it in on a plate. I'm like, oh, damn, you're right.
There are,
You know?
which shows you should be doing more twiddling.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know,
I don't have any time right now. I'm pretty packed up.
I find that chin rubbing is like, oh, you're thinking, yeah, let me leave you alone.
Oh, right.
That works for me. That have a book in front of you or a computer screen and maybe some type of calculator or something. I'm busy figuring this out. Meanwhile, you're figuring out what to order.
You're right.
Or
For lunch.
Like
yeah. So, Bill, you're driving your own '59 Ford. You've had that car for how long now?
I got that car in 1978.
Yeah, just right about when I got my Pontiac. Yeah. We do keep our stuff for a long time, don't we?
Yeah.
But, I know you've gone through many iterations. Body off just a few years ago.
Yeah, about 7, 8 years ago, I actually changed the chassis on it.
Is that long ago?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was like 3 or 4. I'm thinking it was like 3 or 4.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
And I got it. I started on it in mid-January, and I got it back together and running about a week or two before this car cruise.
Yeah.
And I led the way out to Orient Point with it.
Yep.
That's why I kind of remember you talking about thrashing to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of late nights, but I got it done.
See, but the good thing about having a car for so long is you get to know every nut and bolt, and you remember
every noise.
You remember from the last time, oh, right, that was a trouble spot that I was going to fix and I never did. So now I know I'm going in with the torch or whatever. But you know, when you work on a customer's car, a car you've never seen, I'm going through that now, and you're like, who did this? Who was in here last? The dealer? Oh my God! Yeah, I found broken bleeder screws on wheel cylinders. And the dealer had the car last. Like, oh, great. So they never told you that they broke your bleeder screws and sent you out the door, So it's kind of like the Wild West. You go in with, almost like you go in with a blindfold, and it's like, okay, fix this car. Like, all right, well.
You got to figure out, A, what's wrong with it, and B, why that happened and what the last guy did.
Yeah.
We run into a lot of that at our shop.
And sometimes fixing what they broke is harder than doing the original. Most times it's harder than doing the original job.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So what's the balance of your business now between radiator work and repair work and whatnot?
I would say the classic car end of the business is at least 60% of the business.
Good.
Between fixing old cars, and we also sell classic car radiators out of state. We ship them all over the country.
Right.
So the old car stuff, as I call it, is at least 60% of my business.
Right.
And the regular everyday cars coming in, and then you have some industrial and gas station work too. But I much rather prefer working on the old stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
The coolest thing
more straight up.
The coolest thing I saw over Bill's was a round heater core. I don't know what the heck that was out of.
Yeah, GM used them in the early 50s on a few different models. Yeah, they had a big round one that went under the seat, and it blew heat onto your feet in the back and the front. Or they had a round one in the dash, which at the time was the cheaper heater, but now that's a $425 heater to recore.
Yeah.
Whereas the square one might only be about $200.
Probably harder to make.
This kind of ties into what Bronx said before. I came in on a restoration project, came into a thing where the car had a regular copper heater core, standard to Chevy, and the one that came back as from a resto place is aluminum.
They're making them all aluminum now because they're cheaper, less weight, the raw material costs less, and they're making them all in China.
And like you said, I think you could expect maybe a little less heat out of that too, no?
I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
Most people are leery of them just because they want it to be more like the original.
It was actually thinner too. It wasn't as fat as the copper one.
But the core is a lot denser, just like I was saying before about the radiators. They pack in the tubes and fins so tight that the air has no choice but to pick up a ton of the heat as it goes through.
What I did do is I looked at the copper one and said, this one looks pretty good. I'm going to put this in the box. The aluminum one came in. We're going to save this just in case. And then, of course, I go to put the heater box on the firewall. It was a non-AC car, and the lower hose, the way that the tube comes out for the heater core on the aluminum one was now bent at an angle that the original one wasn't. You can't rebend that. You can't. So I had to actually cut the heater box away so that it would clear. And so I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
We're going to the next level, but give me that black paint so I could touch it up.
Yeah, some of that is just in the manufacturing process they made, or sometimes they just take 2 or 3 models that shouldn't be together that actually had separate part numbers for a reason,
for wider variety.
And then somebody along the lines who never actually worked on one of these says, "Oh, this will fit. It's just got that little extra bend. They can make it work."
Well, plus their CAD drawings don't go right to left; they go up and down. So that may be where the
That's part of it.
So I've heard. I don't know.
Yeah, well, believe me, yes, that could happen too.
Yeah.
in many cases.
Right.
The problem is everyone wants something a little less expensive, and the only way you get it less expensive is to make it cheaper.
Right.
And then you pay the price when you go to put it in.
Find some way to cut the cost, whether it's in the manufacturing process or make one or two less part numbers. I run into that from time to time too, where like certain things should not be consolidated and they're not.
Right. Well, you see it from your business with manufacturing. I've always said you get what you pay for. And, you do get what we pay for here on Motor Mouth Radio.